What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Cut. I am one of your hosts, Anthony Oquendo, and I've got my co-host here with me, Tom Ross. Say what's up, Tom?
What's up, guys? How are you?
What's up? Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We are going to talk about a few things. We got a few things on the schedule. First of all, you're going to be watching this on Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day, guys.
Secondly, let's get right into it because we don't want to waste no time, and we don't want to waste your time. First thing on the agenda, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. Tom, I presume you are a sports fan, so it would be a fair assessment or a fair guess to say that you watched the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's a fair guess. We went to my mom and dad's house for the first time in a while to watch it. So that was fun. Getting to hear like my dad talk about like Super Bowls that he had watched like when he was younger, and just like how different it is now compared to when he was younger. And it's kind of cool to like if you have like someone that's someone in the older generation, and they have stories. I mean, obviously you want to listen to the stories, but the ones that engross me the most are like sports stories. That like my dad remembers. He'll tell me stuff about like how like Joe Namath when he played for the Jets, or Johnny Unitas for the then Baltimore Colts. Stuff about the Browns. Like my dad tells me a story all the time about how he was at Cleveland Stadium when the Browns were playing the Steelers, and Terry Bradshaw got put into the game because their Pittsburgh starting quarterback got hurt that day. And my dad watched Terry Bradshaw throw the first ever touchdown pass of his career. And Terry Bradshaw is like a legendary quarterback.
Right, of course.
And then him telling me that story, and then my dad telling me like watching Patrick Mahomes. My dad says that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback he's ever seen in his life. Now my dad's in his mid-late 70s. So it's crazy.
So he watched the Super Bowl?
He watches it every year.
So what do you think about it?
He really liked it because he said that it reminded him of old Super Bowls. Because this was a very defensive Super Bowl. I mean, think about the past couple Super Bowls. Like, it's been high scoring. Like,
Last couple Super Bowls
have been very offense oriented.
Nah.
But here, let me quantify that.
Okay.
It might not reflect on the scoreboard, right? But deep passes, trick plays, wide receivers busting free for something. Like, but you didn't see that a lot in this Super Bowl. You saw mainly from the 49ers side running the football, which they have the best running back in the football in the league right now, Christian McCaffrey. I love Nick Chubb, but I would trade anything to have Christian McCaffrey on our team. And it's crazy because like whenever I see Christian McCaffrey run the football, I always remember that movie The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler.
Yes.
Where he was in prison and he had the football league.
And they had to play the prison guards. Yeah.
And the guard is the running back, and he runs to the sideline. That's how a white man runs a football. That's all I can think that Christian McCaffrey's thinking when he scores a touchdown, or runs the football, but for my dad to say that Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback he's ever seen is like one of the craziest things I've ever heard in my life, because he's a great player.
Mahomes?
He's a great player. He's a prolific talent. He's the LeBron James of the NFL.
I would say he's the next Tom Brady.
I don't think he's the next Tom Brady. I think he's the next Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes can do things that Tom Brady could never dream of doing.
I mean
You mean winning style. He wins.
Clutch.
He's clutch. He is.
And I think he's a lot younger than Tom
He's
Brady.
28 years old, dude.
Yeah, I mean he's got a long time to go.
Think about this. Patrick Mahomes is so talented and has such trust in the people around him. The guy who caught the game-winning pass for the Super Bowl, McCole Hardman, he used to play for the Chiefs back in the day. Well, he left like a year or two ago and went to the New York Jets. Okay? He was signed to be like their number 1, number 2 receiver. The Jets cut him this year at midseason. They cut him. He was so shitty, the Jets didn't want him. Think about that. Now, the Jets are a good team when they have Aaron Rodgers on the field.
Right.
But McCole Hardman was so bad to the Jets that they cut him, and the Chiefs sign him, bring him back, and they put him on the field for that play. Patrick Mahomes found him. And that kid went from being literally on the street 8 weeks ago to being
Catching
the hero of Kansas City.
The game-winning Super Bowl touchdown.
And I think it just speaks to how talented Mahomes is. Like, he's prolific. But on the flip side, think about this. Brock Purdy, the quarterback for the 49ers, is literally Mr. Irrelevant from a few years ago. So Mr. Irrelevant's the title you get when you are the last pick of the NFL draft. Not the last pick of the first round.
Right.
The last pick of the 7th round.
Overall. Everything.
That man is in the Super Bowl, and he's in it the whole time.
Contending.
I
mean, to the last second.
But the thing is look at the sideline. I challenge you to go back and watch highlights of the game. Look at Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. He's dialed in. He's looking. He's talking to his guys. He's, hey, we're down, but I don't know if this is what he's saying, but like, hey, we're down, but we can do this. And then look at Brock Purdy on the sideline. He's just like looking down. He looks gutted. And in that moment, I knew these guys ain't winning.
Who did you think was going to win?
I thought the Niners were going to win.
Did you?
But then in overtime, when I saw Brock Purdy just like looking down at the ground like defeated, I was like, he doesn't have it in him.
Was this before before overtime started or after?
It was like right when overtime started, and
before they took the field?
When they took the field, and I think they only kicked the field goal.
So this is after the field goal.
Yeah. And
so basically he's on defense, or he's on the bench, waiting, hoping that Mahomes doesn't throw that game-winning touchdown.
Exactly. But also look at the other guys. Like Christian McCaffrey's sitting and he's looking at the field. George Kittle's like looking. The receivers are like talking with each other. But Purdy's just kind of standing alone and like looking at the ground. Like, that's not what a winner does. You know what I mean? Like, in my opinion, I think of guys win when they're fired up, and he wasn't fired up. He was already defeated. There was no shot if he went back on that field that he was going to lead any sort of game-winning drive. He was gutted. And then other shit was happening on the field too. I mean, Kansas City fumbled. Pacheco, I believe it was, fumbled. And you shot to the sideline, and then Travis Kelce runs up to Andy Reid, and he's like jawing at him, getting in his ear, like
grabbed his arm.
He grabbed his arm, was like shoving him, like, and he's saying, "I wanted to be in on that play. Don't fucking take me out of the game." And he's right. I mean, he has earned that right. He's that stature of player to where he can demand to be on the field. And in the biggest game of the season, you take him off.
Right. So here's obviously that if you, I mean, just Google the Super Bowl and you'll see that
That's
picture.
the first thing that comes up.
Right. So I'm just kind of scrolling through all these feeds about this, and you have these people who say, "Oh, if I was Andy Reid, he would have been out for the rest of the game. He would have been benched." I'm like, no, the fuck, you wouldn't take him out. You would have lost your job the very next day.
Absolutely. Even if you won.
Yeah.
You don't take him off.
Let alone
field.
you lose. You're not getting another job at all.
No.
If you win, you might get another opportunity at another team. But if you lose, you're done. Just kiss your career goodbye. And that's what I don't think a lot of people understand is when you have the championship on the line. Like if it was a normal season game, maybe
I understand
take them out.
that it's a normal
take
season
them out.
game. Yeah.
Right? Show them a lesson. Like, hey, that shit's not going to be tolerated.
Yeah.
But this is the Super Bowl.
This is the biggest game ever.
Everything here. So, yeah, to say that you're going to take him out of the game, sure, but you're going to lose your job.
And people are making a mountain out of a molehill. Like,
well, even didn't Andy Reid say it wasn't?
It wasn't nothing. He was just telling me, like, don't fucking take me out. Like, and that's the thing. That's what separate. Like, I talked about Brock Purdy earlier when Purdy's just looking down. That was a running play. That was a play that it was designed for Pacheco. It was never going to go to Travis Kelce. It was never going to go to Valdez Scantling, Rashee Rice, anything. It was
on the ground. It was staying on the ground.
It was going to Pacheco.
Yeah.
But Kelsey knew, if I'm in the game, that doesn't happen because I'm blocking for him.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know this about Travis Kelsey, but in high school, he's from Cleveland, by the way.
Right.
He was a quarterback in high school and for the beginning of his college career. He was a quarterback. That man knows, and what I'm getting at is, when you're a quarterback, you know everything that's going to happen. You know where each person's supposed to be. You know how the play's designed. So taking that knowledge, he still obviously thinks like a quarterback. If I'm in there, I make that block. I know where I'm supposed to be. He's not like Rob Gronkowski, Gronk back when Tom Brady. Gronk was going to throw a block or two, but Gronk was more a receiver. Travis Kelsey is the all-around tight end that the position has been revolutionized around. But before Travis Kelsey, there was like Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, like those bigger guys who could catch. But no one has been as strong as Kelsey, and no one has that IQ.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, Reed and Kelsey have been together for how long?
Wasn't it like 11 years or something?
No,
like
because 11 years ago, Andy Reid was coaching Michael Vick in 2012 in Philly. I think they've been together about 6 years now. They've been together about 6-7 years.
Long time.
Long time. So there's also a relationship there.
Yeah, because I don't even think Kelsey's been in the league that long.
Kelsey's been in the league since, I think, 2014, 2015. He's getting up there. But but what I'm getting at when I say that is Travis Kelsey, if it were any other coach, hey, they've only been together a year, that's one thing. But these guys, it's more like they have such a connection. They know what they can say to each other. They know what they can't. If Travis Kelsey knows all eyes are on him because of Taylor, and he's a chief, and Patrick Mahomes is his quarterback, he knows anything he's going to do is going to be analyzed. But in that moment, he doesn't care because it's like, or not doesn't care, but he's not thinking about that because all he's thinking of is, this is my coach. He knows that I can be out there. Why did you take me out? Like, that was dumb, dude. Don't fucking take me out because I'm in there and I'm going to do whatever I got to do. So these people are making a mountain out of a molehill. And like you said, it's the first thing you see. You don't see Mahomes hosting the trophy. You don't see like the guys on the field celebrating together. You see, that's the first picture you see. And it's stupid. That's what the NFL's become.
I would say that's probably actually the second picture you see.
The first picture is probably Taylor
Swift
with Blake Lively and Ice Spice.
Yeah.
God, what a fucking room that must have been.
And
that must have been a fun room.
And the other Kelsey brother.
Oh, Jason
the lesser
Kelsey,
known Kelsey brother.
Yeah, Jason Kelsey, man, that guy's awesome.
He's funny.
But the Super Bowl has turned into more than just the game. It's turned into commercials. And we got a lot of them this year, man. Like, we got some good commercials.
I will say I did not pay attention too much to the commercials. I was at a bar, at a restaurant.
Which one?
Well, I'm not gonna say because I'm no free promo here, but it's a local restaurant.
Local restaurant.
But yeah, I was out. I coached basketball.
Oh, your basketball team. Okay.
Yeah, so we had a game. We had a tournament that day.
How'd they do?
We lost. Well, we had 2 games. We had 2 qualifying games the day before, so we made the gold bracket. So we had a chance for the actual championship of the tournament, but we lost in the first round by 3 points. We were down 12 at the beginning. I think it was the beginning of the second half. We do halves instead of quarters.
Yeah.
We were down by 12, so we came back and we lost by 3. But there were 2 very questionable calls at the very end of the game that if one of them hadn't been called, one of our boys would have hit a 3-pointer to tie the game. We probably would have won in overtime. And they called it right before he shot the 3, and he made the 3. So yeah, so it was a tough game, hard to swallow. But
I bet.
But yeah, so after we stayed for the rest of the games and watched everybody who won. Watched everybody play, and the team that beat us actually ended up winning the whole thing. But anyhow, after the tournament, we went out to eat and watched the football game with the boys. Treated them to some pizza and whatnot.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it was loud. There was a lot of stuff going on. 10 kids running around all over the place. 10 adults as well. So
yeah.
So I didn't pay attention to the commercials, but I heard that we've been pronouncing Timu wrong the whole time.
Yeah, it's Temu.
Temu?
It's Temu, I think.
I thought it was Temu.
Whatever it is, we were wrong.
We were wrong.
And that was wild, man. Like Temu had a lot of commercials. They had like 2 or 3
I
different
did
ones.
see them. I didn't listen to the commercials, but I did as they were coming on. I could see them, but they were like on the big screen. But I didn't listen to them. But yeah, I heard we were pronouncing Timu wrong.
So we were pronouncing that wrong, and we saw some trailers for movies coming out that blew. Well, see, they're doing smart stuff now because they want you to go and watch the trailer, right? That's the whole thing to hype up your movie is a trailer, right? They're smart now. They put teaser trailers during the Super Bowl, so like 15-second snippets and then full trailer online now. So
you have to go to the website to view
or
the whole
YouTube,
thing. Okay.
right? So the one there were 2 I was really excited for that I knew were dropping during Super Bowl sometime. Deadpool, which Ryan Reynolds, he's Deadpool in the Marvel universe, and they had a 15-second snippet, but then it said trailer online. So after the Super Bowl, the first thing I do is the first thing on my mind. I go and I look it up on YouTube. Now, Anthony, this is 11 at night, right?
Okay.
The trailer came out at 6, maybe 45. When I took a picture on because I have my Xbox and you can take screenshots. I screenshotted this. There were over 625,000 views from 6:45 to 11:10, let's say. And today it was announced that the Deadpool trailer is the most viewed trailer in 24 hours of all time. It has over 17 million views now.
Yeah, so I just pulled it up. I have not seen this, so I actually want to take a look at it.
Let's take a look.
It's 2.5 minutes roughly.
Yeah.
So let's see. I don't know. So this is Deadpool 3.
Deadpool 3.
All right, okay. It's been a challenging few years, for sure. But I'm happy. That is because of each and every one of you. I'm the luckiest man alive.
Make a wish, buddy.
Wade Wilson? Who's asking? Whoa, 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 whoa. Is that supposed to be scary? Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
Mr. Wilson, you appear to have soiled yourself while unconscious.
I wasn't unconscious. Who are you? Why am I here?
Walk with me.
Oh,
Wait. You are special. This is your chance to be a hero among heroes.
I smell what you're stepping in, Sensei. Your little cinematic universe is about to change forever. I'm the Messiah. I am Marvel Jesus. God, wait! Oh my God! God, I love this part. Wait! Don't just stand there, you ape. Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
I can't wait.
oh, that looks pretty. That looks actually pretty dope.
So what I'm so excited about with that is so Wolverine was obviously in all the X-Men movies you know, when we were growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But Wolverine never had his yellow and blue outfit, which is from the comics and the cartoon show from when we
Right.
were kids. And right there, clearly, he has his yellow and blue outfit, which I'm really excited about. But yeah, like they're doing that now. And there was actually a trailer for like one of my favorite movie series of all time called The Planet of the Apes. But like I've been a fan of Planet of the Apes since like the original ones with Charlton Heston. Okay. But now there's new ones that are out. I didn't even know that they were making a new one. Like I had no idea. And there's one called The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes now. And what they've done, like these apes look real now, dude. Like they look like actual fucking real apes that they've trained.
Is it CGI?
It's all CGI. And
The whole movie or just
no, the apes.
Oh, okay.
But like I remember seeing The Planet of the Apes when it came out. I had just broken up with my college girlfriend. I was gutted, so I go to the movies. I see Guardians of the Galaxy one day, and then I was like, "Oh, they remade Planet of the Apes. I'll go see that." And that movie actually like it meant a lot to me because it helped me get over some stuff, you know. And I've always it's had a soft spot for me for a while. And when I found that, I was like, "Oh my god, like this is what they're doing now. Like they're making quality movies again. Quality movies are coming out cuz for a while
And they just teased that on the commercial?
no, like they teased they didn't tease anything in that. It was more of a full trailer, but the trailer that was online was a little bit more in depth like
Okay.
but I'm watching it and my dad looks at Megan and I and goes, "Are those real fucking apes?" Because his mind is just blown now that you're able to do shit like this, man. Like you can actually do this shit now. Like, and we're at a point now in our history, in our development of film, where do you go from here? You know what I mean? Like what do you actually look at that? Look at that. Like that looks, I don't care what anyone says, that looks real.
That does look pretty real.
Time.
Yeah, this is
Possible is
The elders did not tell us everything about this world.
bend for your king.
Apes hunt humans. It's wrong.
that is pretty wild. That does look pretty realistic.
It's such a wild
Did I even I don't know
sequence of films, man. Like I love the Planet of the Apes, and like Planet of the Apes was something that my dad was really into when I was younger, and he always tried to get me to watch with him, and I always thought it was kind of fucking dumb because I was like, I don't give a shit about that. But then I watched it in college, like in a film studies class, and I'm like, of course, enamored because I'm like 19, and I'm like, oh, this is so deep. And now I'm deep.
So what was your favorite commercial from the Super Bowl?
My favorite commercial, bro. You ever hear of that brand CeraVe?
I've heard of
It's
it.
like a moisturizing
yeah,
cream.
it's like healthcare or like skincare or some shit.
So Michael Cera, remember him from Superbad? The awkward kid from Superbad, not Jonah Hill, but the other one, and not McLovin, but the one with kind of like the weird hair.
Yes.
He's pitching a commercial to the board. Michael Cera, CeraVe. And it's just like him with like these like Fabio looking motherfuckers, like with like his arms around him, and it's like moisturize. And I was like, dude, this is so clever. Like it's clever.
Just to play on the name, huh?
Yeah, but the thing that really disappointed me, I may have not seen it because maybe I was in the bathroom or something, but I didn't see any of the Budweiser Clydesdale horses. You know, every single year it's like a tradition. Like Budweiser
For the
has a
Super
commercial
Bowl.
for the
Yeah.
Super Bowl with the horses.
They ran out of money
They had to have
because
of the homosexual thing, the transsexual thing.
Dylan Mulvaney.
Dylan Mulvaney. And then that segues into the entertainment portion. I mean, the halftime show.
Yeah. So
I thought it was dog shit.
really?
I thought it was dog shit.
Why?
I remember those songs. I remember them. right?
I
Like,
mean, isn't part of the halftime show nostalgia?
yes, that's not what I mean. Like, I remember them, dude. Like, I remember them, like, being amazing. Being like Usher made me think I had relationship problems when I was in 7th grade, bro. And like, I was like fucking up in my relationship. You know what I mean? Like, and I think part of the thing with a Super Bowl halftime show is you are on one of the biggest stages in the world.
Yes.
124 million people tuned into the Super Bowl, right? It behooves you to be on your A game, right? You have to put on a show. Usher didn't put on a show. He lip synced. Half of the shit was just pre-recorded shit of him putting it out there and him like gyrating to it real quick, which the man can still move. I mean, I ain't going to discount that. But I thought the best part was when Alicia Keys came out and she started doing My Boo with him. She sounded good. Yeah, she missed a few notes, but that's what Alicia Keys does. That's part of her charm. And I just know that fucking Swizz Beatz was in his fucking suite throwing shit because Usher was grinding on her in the back.
It's
and
part of the
then
performance, man. They're all entertainers.
But the truly best part is when Lil Jon was just in with the fucking crowd, like doing his fucking thing. Like,
I did not even recognize that was Lil Jon at first.
I thought it was Beetlejuice, the that like comedian guy with dreadlocks for a second.
Yeah.
And can we talk about how Jermaine Dupri was wearing those socks that like the
How he
little
looked
girls
like a
wear with the
leprechaun?
frills? Yeah.
He looked like a
Usher just didn't have any, like when Yeah came on. That's one of my mom's favorite songs of all time. She loves that song. And I'm just thinking about it for her, like I'm so excited for her to see it, you know? And it was so underwhelming. And then Ludacris comes out, and Ludacris was awesome because Luda's awesome. He's a cool motherfucker. But you can be cool, but like you got to put on a show, dude. And I think I'm kind of jaded because for me, the best halftime show of all time is Prince. Prince is the greatest halftime show of all. It's raining, and they ask him if he wanted to stop, and he goes, "Make it rain harder." And then he plays Purple Rain, which is the greatest song of all time, in my opinion. But anyway, there's no... it's all dancing and backup dancers and bands now. It's not anything about the musician anymore. Next year, the Super Bowl's in Louisiana. And I swear to God, it could be the Cleveland Browns at full strength, undefeated season on the line, going against the 49ers, let's say. Or even better, the Vikings, my second favorite team, which are an NFC team. If the Browns and Vikings played in the Super Bowl, I would not watch if they fumble the opportunity to have Lil Wayne do the halftime show.
That's a
Lil
good
Wayne
point.
is from Louisiana.
Yeah.
He is on all the NFL talk shows, and he's a huge football fan. How do you not put him on?
He's a Packers fan too, though.
He is a Packers fan, and he's a very outspoken one.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that's the other thing, man. Like, some of these people, I don't even fucking understand why they're there. Usher hasn't been relevant in 10 years.
From what I read, I don't know how true it is. Usher did not make $1 directly off of the Super Bowl performance. He basically used it to. I'm pretty sure he released an album or
he is releasing an album. Releasing an album,
and he mentioned it right before the halftime show.
Oh no
or
shit!
Something I don't know, or he's going on tour, but basically used it as promo to gain new followers and album sales.
Megan
sales.
said it was because Usher has a residency in Vegas.
He does actually,
and that's why he was doing it.
That is very possible.
Another case in point: the Super Bowl was in Atlanta a few years ago, and
why didn't they have all of them do it in Atlanta? That would have made much more sense because everybody that was on that stage was from Atlanta.
Correct, but they had Adam Levine that year from Maroon 5.
Right
now, fantastic. He's a prolific performer, but they brought Big Boy out from Outkast. How in the fuck do you not bring Andre 3000 out? Because they did.
Andre
Outkast
3000
songs.
was busy learning how to play the flute.
He probably was, and it was the best. Did you hear that album? It was amazing. It
was pretty peaceful.
Yeah. But like they missed so many opportunities in this stuff, man. Like I feel, and maybe it's maybe it's they just can't do it. The last good halftime show I can remember is when the Rams played the Bengals, and it was 50 and Snoop
and Eminem.
Dre, Eminem. That was sick. That was sick. That was the last
only, what,
good
2
one.
years ago?
That was 2 years. It was 2022. It was 2 years ago. I was over at Justin Mixer's house. We were watching it.
That was a good one.
That was good. I was just upset, man, like because I want to be entertained, and I wasn't entertained by Usher. I was entertained by the music, but it wasn't him. And if you're gonna like The Weeknd,
I don't understand how I don't see where you're coming from there, because I mean everything that was in the halftime show like is to me was Usher. I mean, he was on the roller skates. I don't know if you've seen him recently, but he's been skating, posting videos of him at like skating rinks doing like little dances on skates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got his blouse that he was wearing that was real sparkly. Like everything was screamed Usher to me.
It is.
Took his shirt off, was doing Let It Burn, all that
Yes.
crazy like dancing and shit. Like,
I agree with you, but he wasn't singing his songs, man.
do you know how fucking hard? Especially
I don't
Usher's-
know how hard it is.
Usher's like he's in his 40s now.
Yes.
Like, do you know how hard it is to?
Let me put a counterpoint to that. Post Malone did America the Beautiful to start the game.
Mm-hmm.
He sang that entire fucking thing.
Was he sitting? Was he running around dancing and
He
shit?
was not. But at that moment, no one was cheering and clapping, right? Attention is on you when you're cheering and clapping, right? Like there's still cheering and clapping for Usher, but they're still like singing along with it, and it's not all about Usher, it's about the performance, right? For Post Malone, all eyes were on him. At that moment, everyone was quiet and looking at him, and he had every opportunity to fuck up, and he didn't.
Yeah,
And he
I think
did
you were
great.
I think we're comparing apples and oranges.
We might be, but that was amazing. Usher's show was good. It was good. I think dog shit was too harsh, but I just wish that these guys would at least fake it a little bit more. Like he stopped singing. You can tell that he was like, and the music was still playing in the background, or like the or the fucking parts of Let It Burn or Caught Up were playing in the background as his mouth isn't even moving.
All right, but here's the thing though. So if you basically pay attention to anybody's performance, you're gonna have the song and their vocals playing in the background. Their vocals are going to be at a lower volume than what their mic is set to. Part of that is for situations where if they forget a line, which happens. They forget a line, they can hear it in their earpiece, pick back up. Also, if they need to take a breath, right? They need to take a breath. That the music's still playing, so that way it's not just dead space. It sounds like shit whenever it's dead space.
Sure.
It would sound way worse if his lips stop moving and then you hear absolutely no vocals.
I understand. I understand where you're coming from, but with that, I almost like it more if something like that happened, because it shows that like they're still
Not me, because
a person.
I like to hear the background track with the vocals, and then whenever he does start singing again, like, oh, okay, yeah, there's a background track, but he's actually singing over top of that as well.
Correct. Now I don't even know why I'm being so critical, because I'm calling for Lil Wayne for next year, and that motherfucker doesn't even remember half of his lyrics, because there's interviews like, who said that?
He's
that
like,
was you.
oh.
Oh,
That
I
was
said
me.
that?
That was fucking me.
Oh my God, that was
shit
hard.
Fire. That
Yeah,
shit was fire.
you saw that
Yeah,
video where he's
yeah.
like, that shit's fucking
I said
fire.
that. I said that.
Yeah.
Damn.
And how cool would it be if Lil Wayne came out and he brought out Nicki and Drake?
He would. I mean, it
He'd
would
bring
be
out all of them.
Yeah, I don't.
Juvenile.
I would bet money. He would bring out Yeah, he would
Manny
bring out
Fresh.
Manny.
He'd have to bring out Baby.
God, please don't.
He'd have to. But it'd just be Baby going like this in the background. That's all he'd be doing. Yeah, the bird call. He'd be standing there like, Put some respect on my name. All three of y'all. Like, I remember when we worked at Verizon and Alice worked there,
Yeah.
and she heard that interview and she came to work.
She
Y'all
was
better
done.
respect my name.
Yeah.
All three of y'all.
She thought he was so dumb for that.
Oh, I loved it. And then, I mean, can't end our talk about about the Super Bowl without Taylor Swift. I thought it was very. I bet there was actually prop bets for the Super Bowl. I bet over 20 times Taylor would get shown. I lost.
How many
was
times
only
did
like
they show her?
12. It was only like 12.
Only 12?
Yeah.
It wasn't 13?
No. That would have been clever.
That should have been the bet, over under 13.
Now, a lot of people are making a lot about her being shown and stuff like that. And I tend to agree sometimes. Like, I don't even want to see the sidelines, dude. If I'm watching a football game, I want to watch fucking football. I don't care if they're in a huddle and they're just getting water. Like, I'm watching the football game. I'm not and this is for anything. This even goes to golf. I'm a big golf watcher. I watch golf all the time. I fucking can't stand when they pan over to the fans or people in the stands, celebrities. Bro, I don't care if I'm watching Rory walk for 10 minutes to get to his fucking ball. I want to see them. Like, I don't want to see all these other people because ultimately they don't matter. Like, I'm watching the football game. If I want to see Taylor Swift, I'll go watch her fucking shows, man. She's a talented artist. She's a talented person. She's, by all accounts, a very nice person. Not very concerned about the environment. But I'm going to tell you what, like, I can't knock who she is, and I never will knock who she is.
Do you think?
But I don't care about her when it comes to football.
So with all I think we mentioned it on our last podcast about the 13, right? Super Bowl 58.
Yeah.
5 + 8, 13.
Yeah.
Did we go over that?
We did.
Okay. So, do you think it was scripted?
The Super Bowl?
All of it.
I think that there were parts that went in favor of certain things. I definitely think there hasn't been a Super Bowl that's gone to overtime in a long time, and they definitely needed to recoup ratings because, like, the past couple Super Bowls haven't been as viewed as before. I think they wanted to draw in viewership, but the other thing that you got to consider is Paramount Plus is also going to have exclusive rights to the games starting next year. You might have to pay to watch the Super Bowl going forward. Now, I have Paramount Plus, so I don't give a shit.
I don't see that happening. I mean, especially
It could happen,
I
bro.
mean, it could absolutely not.
Did you ever think that you wouldn't be able to watch Thursday Night Football on ABC? Guess what? Now, if you're not in network, you got to go on Amazon Prime.
Well, I mean, that's like that's the same with friggin' like we can't watch Cavs games most of the time
Unless
because
you
it's
have
on
Bally Sports.
Yeah,
It's stupid. Like, they have taken away. They have gotten
deleted.
They have gotten so many. They've gotten so much money from streaming that's what they want to do now. They want to take the ability away to watch something that shouldn't be behind a paywall, man.
I agree.
I think that the Super Bowl should be on basic cable, no matter what. Because
Why
should it be on basic cable? Everyone should be able to watch the Super Bowl, dude. There should be no exclusivity to watching the Super Bowl. There should be no exclusivity to watching the Masters, the World Series, the NBA Finals. In my opinion, it's fucking dumb that they make UFC fights on pay-per-view. If it's a heavyweight fight, Stipe Miocic versus John Bones Jones, that's huge. You already pay enough for cable. Why can't they just watch it on ABC? Maybe the pay-per-view could be like the undercard and some of the other fights, but a championship anything should be able to be seen by everyone, because at the end of the day, these are normal people that are very good at something, right? They're the best in the world at their craft, right? By putting that behind a paywall, you're sending the message to young kids that anything that you do in life, you should only do it for the money. You should never do it for the love of it. And that's what it says to me. Like, by putting like a UFC fight, championship fight on a paywall, right?
Nah,
Well,
fuck that, bro.
like,
I mean, it's a business.
Dude, they should get paid.
not
But what I'm
charity.
saying is why restrict young kids from being able to see a hero win something and inspire them, right?
Here, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
And we're getting off topic here.
We're gonna go
if-
to the next
Would
topic here in a
would
minute.
it mean more to the kid if he had to like save up some money, ask his parents, "Look, mom, dad, I really want to watch this. This guy really is an idol to me. I saved up this money. Can we please, buy the pay-per-view to watch this?" Would it mean more to him to work for that?
Would it mean okay? But would it mean more to the kid to save that money and buy a gym membership and buy a trainer, sessions with a trainer, so he could be like that guy after he sees him? I think it would. I think it'd be mean much more to the kid.
I mean, that would be. I see what you're saying, but I don't. It's a business, bro.
It is a business, and like I said, maybe put the other fights on the pay-per-view so you can see everything, or maybe there's more exclusive content. Like maybe you don't hear Joe Rogan in that fight, right? Unless you have the pay-per-view. Maybe you just hear like another commentator or something.
So you're saying what other fights would you put on the pay-per-view?
So say it's Bones
Like the
Jones
head-
versus Stipe.
Not the headliners, but
not the headliners, but like maybe Thug
Nah.
Rose is fighting someone.
No, bro. It's a business. You have to put the headliners on pay-per-view. I could see putting the other ones,
And the other ones are on ESPN. Like the undercard, you can watch that on ESPN. Like, I mean, that's not a big deal. But, I mean,
The headliners should be, if you have to pay to watch those.
I don't necessarily agree.
I mean, how else are they gonna recoup the money to pay these fighters?
Case in point, the fighters are going to get paid if they go on pay-per-view, right? How do the NFL players get paid? None of their shit's on pay-per-view.
Fucking commercials.
Put commercials on UFC fights. Put commercials.
Yeah, all right, but you have how many UFC pay-per-view events do you have per year?
One a month.
That's 12.
Yeah.
Okay. How many Super Bowls do you have per year? Case in point.
Wouldn't it make more sense to put the Super Bowl behind a paywall then? Because there's only one?
because you have commercials for the Super Bowl because it happens one time a year. How many people watch the Super Bowl compared to the UFC?
I think the highest draw was like 50 or 60 million for a UFC fight, and that was Conor McGregor.
And
Versus
how many
Cowboy
people just
Cerrone.
how many people just watch the Super Bowl?
124. I get what you're saying. And it's
But
all
yeah.
part of the plan. It's all an evil plan, and we get that by going dark, just like.
Well, no,
what
I
Joe
mean,
did.
I asked you that because I mean there was a conspiracy going around that because the Chiefs, the Chiefs won in what 2020,
2020,
right?
and they won last year as well, 2022.
Right. So there was a conspiracy going around that Biden and the NFL was all, because 2020 was an election year. Chiefs won in 2020. That because the Chiefs won in 2024, that Biden was going to be elected again. I heard that going around, right?
That's
So-
nuts.
So, yeah. So that's why I asked you if it was scripted because right after, now this has been taken down since then, but right
Internet
after,
doesn't forget I have it on my phone still.
I have it on my phone as well. So right after the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs won. Joe Biden. So this picture was floating around the internet.
Just
now,
like we drew it up.
This is a picture of Joe Biden from Joe Biden's X account, and it says just like we drew it up. And whenever I first saw this, somebody sent this to me. Not that I personally screenshotted this, but whenever I first saw this, I was like, "There's no way this is a troll. Like this is a fake
It was
account.
fucking real.
This is a fake account." I was like, "There's no way that he actually posted this." So I went on to his X account, and sure the hell enough, it was posted.
Yeah. It was up today. It was there today.
It's
not there now, but it was there this morning.
It is not there now.
No, but
because
I showed Jarrell and Tyler at work that today.
like you went on his account.
I went
and
on
it
his
was there?
account and scrolled through and showed it to him.
Let me see, because I'm looking the Super Bowl is on
Are
the
you looking
11th,
at
right?
President Biden? Are you looking at POTUS or are you looking at Joe Biden?
That's a good question. Let me go back.
You're
here.
not on Joe Biden.
I'm not on Joe Biden. I'm on the president's page. Ah, yep, there it is. There the hell it is. Yep, here it is. Just like we drew it up.
Now read the comments. Go down. Joe, what the fuck?
Even Elon jumped in there.
That's not Elon Musk.
Oh, that's a parody.
account.
That's right. Okay. I thought this was a parody. Same, dude. I thought it was a parody too, but nope. It is a president of the United States. That is hilarious.
Do you know what
Wild
actually
thing to post.
You know what it reminded me of when I saw it the first time? I thought that it was because the Deadpool trailer dropped. I thought it was Joe Biden as Cyclops from X-Men, because Cyclops has the red eyes that can shoot the beams. I thought maybe he was like, oh yeah, just like we drew it up. Now the X-Men are in.
Now here, this was posted too. This is Hillary Clinton. She posted this after the Super Bowl. Congratulations to Taylor's boyfriend and the entire Kansas City's Chiefs community.
Yeah, I mean, people love Travis Kelce, man.
Can't believe. Yeah, she didn't even say Travis Kelce. She just said Taylor's boyfriend.
Exactly.
Which is hilarious to me.
Hillary Clinton's a big proponent for like women. Like she's a man hater. She's a man hater. I mean, I love Harrison Crank. Fuck you, Hillary.
Yeah. But yeah, that was hilarious.
Dude, Joe Biden's a wild motherfucker, man. And there's some shit that I don't really understand with him. I think that he doesn't, I don't think that he is all there. And a lot of his people are now getting in trouble. And a lot of his people are being exposed and called out. And you can't get more exposed or called out than if you're impeached.
Yeah.
And didn't that happen to a gentleman down in Texas today?
Not a gentleman down in Texas. Yeah, so I mean this news came out right before we're actually recording this, but yeah, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary
Mayorkas.
Alejandro Mayorkas
was impeached.
Yeah, he was impeached. House passed articles of impeachment, basically.
Yes. Because it was a breach of public trust, correct?
No, they impeached him for basically breaking the law when it comes to immigration.
Okay.
This all has to do with the border and immigration. Yeah, so the House impeached him. I think the vote was 214 to 213. 3 Republicans voted with the Democrats, which
kind of blows my mind there
despite those 3 votes. 214 and 213. So now it will go up to the Senate, and the Senate has to basically do their own vote. Mm-hmm. And then if he's impeached there, then the way I believe it works, somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, the way I believe it works is he will be removed from his position.
So what does that do for election time? What is that like is that do you think that that's a point that Republicans could pull up? Like, hey, how can we vote for Joe Biden for president when his director, the guy who directed something, was impeached? Biden can't even keep his group in line, so how can we trust him to keep our country in line again? Do you think that's a cognizant argument that they could bring up?
I mean, not whenever Trump was impeached twice, or he wasn't impeached, but
he wasn't impeached.
Yeah. So yeah,
I hated that when that happened, by the way, because I was watching that live and they were like, "Oh, he was impeached." No, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
It was brought up for impeachment. It was passed to bring it to the next level. He wasn't impeached.
Correct. It passed the House, didn't pass the Senate.
Correct.
Right. So yeah. So, but I mean, there's that argument. So I don't necessarily know.
It blows my mind that we're 4 years removed from him being elected.
Yeah.
Joe Biden. Like in 9 months, we're going to be voting on another president. I pray for the sake of this country that it's not Joe Biden. I pray that it's not Kamala Harris. And I really hope that America can get we talked last week about how my mom will vote Democrat no matter what, right?
Blue no matter who.
I think that that's a really dangerous thing to do.
I do too.
Because just it's like saying that you love Coca-Cola, right? No matter what, I'm going to drink Coca-Cola.
Even if there's a better soda that comes out?
Well,
No,
not
there
only
is
that,
no set. There's no better.
hey,
set.
my teeth are starting to rot. Hey, I'm starting to get fat. Well, hey, if you cut out the Coca-Cola, maybe you have one a week, but maybe if you replace your 4 Coca-Colas a day with 7 waters, big, nice cold glasses of water, you're probably going to lose a little bit of weight. You're going to be a little less bloated. You know what I mean? No, I like Coca-Cola. I'm only going to drink Coca-Cola. Well, that's dangerous. That's unhealthy, right? The same can be applied to politics. Yeah, I like some things that some Democrats do, but I've also opened my eyes. I like some things that Republicans do. I'm gonna go with whoever I think. It needs to stop blue no matter who and red no matter what. Like, it needs to be whoever the strongest and most qualified person is to run this country. If you think it's a Democrat and you're a Democrat, great. But if you're a Democrat and you think it's a Republican, then vote Republican. Just
Wow.
do it.
Okay, so this is actually breaking news.
Okay, breaking news.
Right this moment, like 25 minutes ago, this was posted. Here, let me make sure I know where I'm at here. So, multiple injuries reported after a car plows through an emergency room in Austin, Texas. The incident happened at the St. David's North Austin Medical Center. Reports estimated there are 10 injuries. One person is dead, according. The outlet is reporting that the incident did not appear to be intentional and claims the driver, but there's actually a video of what happened. So,
Okay.
good for one. Wow.
Are you okay?
Get your way. We need to go way away. Way away.
Okay.
Who's she yelling at?
The cameraman. You
Well,
notice
it's-
how when she says, "Hey, you," the camera starts going down, or the camera phone?
No, I don't. I'm not so sure that was the case. Anyways, that's breaking news. That's
Sad. Hopefully, everyone's okay.
Yeah,
You hate seeing anything happen to a hospital.
yeah. I'm glad to see that it didn't appear intentional. That makes me feel a little bit better, I guess. But I guess if there's anywhere that you would want something like that to happen, would be a hospital.
Yeah, because staff's there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they can help. Like, tying back to the Super Bowl, like, we talk about, like, oh, Patrick Mahomes is my hero. The real heroes are people that, like, work in hospitals, man. They're the ones doing actual work. They're the ones that are, like, doing shit that actually matters.
There
in
are
the
a
grand scheme.
lot of heroes in the world.
There are a lot of heroes, police officers, firefighters.
Shit, sometimes people consider me a hero just for fixing their phone because I got their pictures and videos back. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I mean,
That's on the chest.
the feeling that I have when, like, it's like a family that kind of has hit some hard times and their vehicle got fucked up and they just need something,
It's subjective, man.
and I find the right thing.
Anybody can be a hero in the right circumstances.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You kind of just echoed what Peter Parker's uncle always would say. Like, anyone can be a hero. It's just like what you do with it. Like,
Yeah.
Uncle Ben said that before he died.
Yeah.
Which was Spider-Man's fault.
So what else we got on the agenda? Mayorkas impeached. We'll see what happens there. We'll
What
see if we can keep you updated.
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Our boy Tucker Carl.
Don't do it. No promo.
Zen. Carl Zen.
No free promo. in this
Interviewed
one.
Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, I didn't find it too much of an interesting. I think Tucker did not do a great job.
I think
I think it was pretty soft on him.
that Tucker made that promo.
But then again, like, you're in Russia. Like, how tough do you want to be on this guy? You might not make it back to the U.S. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
You said what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Tucker was very adamant in his interview about showing truth, and I think he did a good job for the most part. But the thing is, what I was just gonna say, you're in Russia, bro.
Yeah. I mean, he let Vladimir Putin kind of dictate the way that interview went.
He had to.
I mean, for like the first 15 minutes, Putin just kind of gave a history lesson on Russia.
I thought it was really interesting how Vladimir Putin said, "Hey, we'll stop the fighting." Like, not in these words, but hey, we'll stop the fighting. You guys stop aiding them.
Yeah.
Stop aiding them, and we'll stop fighting. Like, and to me, like, I'm not a proponent for Russia. I think there's a lot of atrocities that have happened, undoubtedly, but I mean, I didn't think he was wrong in saying that. Like, hey, we're gonna pull out, but you're the greatest military in the world in the United States, which he didn't come out directly and say, but he just was like, why would we stop fighting when you guys are fucking funding them, man? Like, don't you see how that kind of, because you're gonna keep funding them. It's not like the plane's just gonna stop midair.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And turn around. Like, if we pull out, like, you guys are still dropping shit off. They could come right in and invade us. You know what I mean? With your technology, you
Yeah.
know? And I think, like, he pretty much alluded to, he doesn't care who's in office in the United States.
Oh, he said it doesn't matter
Yeah, it doesn't matter, excuse me. Like, it
because they're
doesn't
not the
matter.
one running it anyways.
Yeah, because they're not the one running it. And I thought it was very interesting that he said that, because we've said it a few times on this show. Like, it's not Biden running the country. It's other
Yeah, I mean, it's the
people.
people who's got the money who do the lobbying. I mean,
And he's, yeah.
it when you have big corporations that are willing to throw money at your campaign to help get you elected, they kind of have leverage over you.
Exactly.
You know, if you don't push for this, well, then you're not going to get the money.
Exactly. And it's funny you mentioned the money.
If you don't push for, this regulation or this law to be passed, well, then, maybe we're not going to fund you so much on the next go around.
It's interesting you bring up the money, because I had told you before the show that I had read about Robert Kennedy Jr., who's an independent running for office. He got a $1.4 million donation, and he returned the donation. So it's really interesting. Like, did he not want to be controlled? Did he not want to have to bend the knee, or pretty much, to whomever gave him that money? Like, and we're seeing, like, Robert Kennedy Jr., he's not poor.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
like, Robert Kennedy Jr. is a very rich man.
Yeah, and I mean that's a thing that a lot of people like about Trump, is because he already had money.
Self-funded.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't need anybody else's money.
I mean, I'm sure he took money, but
Actually, I don't think I would have to look it up. I remember hearing something along the lines of he didn't, for his first campaign, and he didn't take any money.
really interesting.
Let's look it up.
It's very interesting. Like, you're getting more people that are just rich as fuck running for office, man. Like, Donald Trump's big money bait and switch. Well, that's for the Center for Public Integrity. That's Donald Trump did self-fund his campaign. Oh, down right there. Did Donald Trump self-fund his way to the Republican nominee?
Well, this is from CNN, so this is probably gonna be biased. See, it's biased, and you can tell it's biased because they're like, yeah, he did, but not exactly. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
they're like, there's a caveat in there somewhere. Like, he took some money, right? But yeah, I mean, whatever. Probably for the most part, he did.
Yeah.
Which is nice about, if he picks Vivek for his running mate, then Vivek's a billionaire.
Yeah, he is.
So he doesn't need the money either.
Can you imagine if Elon decides to run for president one day?
He can't.
Oh, he's not he wasn't born in the United States.
He was born, yeah,
He was born in South Africa.
correct.
Yeah. Okay. Bet.
Yep.
Interesting. I would love Elon Musk to be the president. You know how much advancements we'd make?
No.
You don't think we would?
Advancements how?
I think that as the president, he would be more finely in tune with the country and the needs of the people. Like, do you think if Elon Musk were the president and the Flint, Michigan situation happened with the dirty drinking water, he wouldn't have designed something to, like, make it so that they could drink the water?
Man, see, that's part of what I mean, kind of what Putin was saying. Like, it's not up to the president. It's not up to the president at all, because the president can only basically recommend things as far as like litigation and policy and whatnot. For the most part, it
So-
has to go through the House and Senate. It has
Clean
to be,
drinking water isn't the president's problem.
not necessarily. No.
So how is East Palestine Biden's problem?
I'm not saying it is, but I never said it was his problem.
I know.
You're saying his responsibility.
Yeah, his responsibility.
I mean, he has some that. Yeah, I mean, he has some responsibility to make sure that, the people of America have some, have clean drinking water. But ultimately, it's not exactly up to him. I mean, it starts locally. You know what I'm saying? Like the right people locally have to be in place and have to be able to, draft these laws in their local legislative branch,
Mhm.
and then those local legislative branches have to reach out maybe for grants or some type of funding or backing from state and federal governments. But yeah, I mean, everything has to go through the legislative branch to be set in stone. The president and anybody in the executive branch, they can make executive decisions, but those can easily be overturned and basically null and void with the if you have the legislative branch actually push everything through. Like once it goes through the legislative branch, it's very hard to overturn.
I gotcha.
It would have to go now through the judicial branch. It would have to be challenged through the
For the judicial branch.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, so the president has limited power, in my opinion, when it
Okay.
comes to stuff like that.
Okay. Get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
But-
I do think that it was important for Tucker to do what he did. I think it was brave to do what he did. It can't be easy going to
Yeah.
Russia.
No, I mean,
As
I
an
probably would
American
have
citizen.
been. I probably would have had bubble guts the whole fucking time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would have been sitting there farting my ass off in front of Putin.
Oh, dude, like I'm gonna tell you, like
Ooh, don't kill me today, sir. Don't kill me today.
he's not the shit that he does and how he's portrayed is scary, but at the end of the day, he's just a dude. You know what I mean? He's a very powerful man. He's a very
Mhm.
powerful man, but I mean, even think about like Vladimir Putin isn't out there killing his own people.
Careful.
No,
There are speculations
Here.
that he is. Yes.
Let me quantify that. Vladimir Putin hasn't gone, and I'm not a proponent for him, I'm not defending him, but what I'm saying is a man I would truly have been afraid of would have been Adolf Hitler. That dude was insane. Like that dude was certifiably batshit insane. He was, first of all, he hated people because they were a religion. Like they're a religion, dude. They're Jewish. And you know what I mean? Oh, so they don't believe in what you believe in. Okay, let's kill them. Like, and there's more to it. There's obviously a lot more to it from his reasoning perspective, but it doesn't make it right.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking, is it because of a religion or because they were a race? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. They
I don't-
weren't pure-blooded Aryan, blonde hair, blue eyes. Like,
yeah,
he was literally batshit insane. With Vladimir Putin, he's out there and when he's talking, I've seen clips of Adolf Hitler. I've watched them. That man was never calm. He always had to be the loudest guy in the room. He always had to like be animated. Like his hair was always like going because like he's like shaking his head and like he had his hand symbol, that kind of shit. But Vladimir Putin, when he was talking,
yeah. That motherfucker was always like coked up.
it was meth.
Yeah,
It was literally meth.
Yeah, like it was always.
He
Yeah,
tried to make a super soldier serum like Captain America style
yeah,
with meth.
yeah.
Nuts. But like Vladimir Putin actually was able to hold a conversation. Was it a one-sided guided conversation how he wanted it? Absolutely. But at no point did I ever feel Tucker Carlson, he very well may have been, but I don't think he portrayed that he was intimidated or that he was ever not at ease being in the room with him.
I don't know. There was a couple times I was a little unsure of like how Tucker was feeling at the moment.
Oh, he was
because
just zen'd out of his mind.
he would laugh But
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if it was like a nervous laugh or if he genuinely thought what Putin was saying was like somewhat funny, which some of it
Let me ask you this.
I thought it was somewhat funny.
Every interview I've ever seen of Tucker Carlson, outside of like with Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn, like where he's being interviewed, right? Every interview I've seen him do, he's in control. He's literally guiding it. He's saying what while letting the other person talk, but he's in complete control. He has his thumb on it. And that interview, I feel like he had his thumb on it, but it wasn't like here. It was more like, like right here. Like, I feel like he may have been nervous, but you're in the room with a world leader in a country where Americans are kind of beguiled.
Yeah.
Like, it might have been uncomfortable, but I don't think he was ever afraid for his life or anything.
No, I don't believe so either. But I mean, that thought had to be in the back of his head.
With Hitler, if he were alive and Tucker Carlson did it, I'm pretty sure Tucker Carlson would have been shitting his pants. Like, I don't want to be here, bro. I just don't want to be here. Like, what did I do? Like,
Maybe.
And then think about like Dennis Rodman. He went and was like an American representative for Kim Jong-un, right? All the photos you see, he's like smiling and laughing with him and shit. How crazy is that? Because that man is literally insane. Like,
maybe. I don't know.
But
like
Dennis Rodman has a poker face.
I mean, we only get one side of the story.
We do.
You
And
know what I'm saying?
it's mainly from liberal media that we only get one side of that story.
Yeah, I mean, Trump went to North Korea.
Didn't he have dinner with him?
Something they met. They met.
I
for
remember
sure.
the clip from it where Donald Trump's like, have us standing there, make us look thin, in shape, young. And I was like, dude, I fucking love this dude. You're in the middle about to enter or like be going to dinner with like a dude who just is like furiously masturbating at the thought of bombing us. And you're just thinking about how thin
Is
you're
he
gonna
though?
look.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we only get one side of the story.
Again, to go off your point, that's the impression I get because you only get one side of the story. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, dude, this guy just wants to bomb us. And Trump's over there like, just make us look thin, make us look good and young. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's what you're thinking? You're not thinking like, hey, don't bomb us like ever, please, because
That's
you can.
That's why I think what Tucker did is so important,
And
for
brave.
other journalists to do. Yeah, I mean but I think it's important, like we talked about last time, to get both sides of the story.
You have to.
Yeah,
If you don't, you're just liberal media. Liberal media
you're just in an echo chamber.
gets
It's-
off on telling one side of the story,
Yeah.
and then shouting until they're right. That's
yeah,
the
whoever says it the loudest is right.
Yeah, that's how the liberals think.
Yeah,
And speaking of how people think, there is a
hard transition. Huh?
there. Well, I'm not transitioning. I'm just transitioning from one
I
topic to another.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so I mean, we can switch topics now. I mean, yeah. So
Because I
I
could
don't
go
know.
on for another hour about Tucker, but I gotta relieve my wife from child duties here soon.
that's all right. So yeah, we'll move on. But yeah, we could talk about this last one here. So
There is a woman who like legitimately believes that a $50 an hour federal minimum wage is the right way to go.
yeah, I mean, we were talking just a couple years ago, $15 minimum wage.
Yeah,
Now we have the congresswoman out of the 12th district of
Brenda Lee.
California.
Isn't that her name, Brenda Lee?
Brenda Lee. Yeah, she
Wasn't that the name of a singer too?
maybe.
I think it was.
But she is
Barbara Lee.
Barbara Lee. Okay.
So play this clip, Anthony.
Yeah, let's this is wild. We
This
went
is
from
really
$15 an hour. Now we're talking $50 an hour federal minimum wage. That is mind-boggling to me. Oh, did I lose it? Nope, here it is. Okay, so let's go here. We'll make it bigger. And I can figure out what the hell I'm doing over here with my buttons. All right, so this is Barbara Lee, 12th District of California, Congresswoman, and this is for the race. Yeah, this is apparently for the election. So let's take a look.
You're calling for a $50 an hour federal minimum wage. That's
Wild.
7 times the current national minimum wage of $7.25 an hour. Can you explain how that would be economically sustainable for small businesses? You have 60 seconds.
Can't be.
First, let me say I owned and ran a small business for 11 years. I created hundreds of jobs, benefits, retirement benefits, also health care benefits. I know what worker productivity means, and that means that you have to make sure that your employees are taken care of and have a living wage. In the Bay Area, I believe it was the United Way, came out with a report that very recently, $127,000 for a family of 4 is just barely enough to get by. Another survey very recently, $104,000 for a family of 1, barely enough to get by. Low income because of the affordability crisis. And so just do the math. Just do the math. Of course, we have national minimum wages that we need to raise to a living wage. You're talking about $20, $25, fine. But I have got to be focused on what California needs and what the affordability factor is when we calculate this wage.
It's funny. She says, do the math. And I, as a small business owner myself, I'm doing the math in my head. If I were to pay an employee $50 an hour, I would have to increase the price of my service, my products, substantially to compensate.
At that point, you charge what, 130 something maybe for a screen?
Let's say 100. My most common repair is an iPhone 11 screen,
Okay.
right? So I
How
pay
much is that?
120.
Okay,
is what I
120
charge.
a screen.
Yep.
Now, $50 an hour. At that point, to be profitable, wouldn't it be just smarter for you to sell the phone at $1,000, like a brand new one for $1,000? Because then you're
No.
barely making money at that
I
point.
barely make money on pre-owned devices as it is.
That's what
as
I'm
it
saying.
is. But I would have to increase the price of the repair.
It's a 500 probably.
No, not that much.
350?
I would probably increase it. Probably the $50.
Okay.
$50. So I would say anywhere from like $30 to $50. So you'd be $150 to $170 for a screen repair that should cost about $120.
Okay. Now think about this. The average cost of a home right now, mortgage, $1,700 across the United States. Okay. The average price of a new car per month is $762 per month. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right there is $2,400. Let's factor in utilities. Say $500 a month because you have gas, water, electric, cable, and sewer. Say $100 each. $500, $2,900. Right. Now let's go credit card bill. Everyone has credit card debt. Let's say you make a little bit more than your minimum payment. Let's say you carry about let's say everyone has a $5,000 limit and you carry about $1,000 on it, right? Minimum payment on that's $35, but to be fiscally responsible, you probably want to pay over that minimum payment, so $100.
All right, where are we going here?
You're averaging $3,300 a month in bills, man.
Yeah.
How is anyone supposed to live on that?
Nobody
You can't not have a house.
For one, nobody told you to pull out to acquire all that debt.
Nobody told you to, but I mean, like, what? Are we just supposed to live on the street? Like, am I supposed to live in my truck?
No, but I mean, here's the thing, though. So minimum wage is for the person who's just getting into the workforce, who is...
That's not true, though.
For the most part, right? You're going to have your young adults, your teenagers who are just getting into the workforce, who are making minimum wage. They're likely living with their parents, have really no responsibilities, right? That is what minimum wage is for. Now you're going to have your one-offs where you're going to have grown adults who run into hard times. But you have to work your way up, improve yourself to a higher wage.
If I don't sell a car in a week, this is how much I make an hour. Okay. Let's say I sell 3 cars in a week. at a minimum commission. That's how much I make in a week.
Okay.
All right. So let's say I sell 3 cars a week at 12 a month. At that point, that's before taxes. I'm probably $300 short from paying my bills.
Sell more cars.
How?
I don't understand the question.
When you came in and you were asking me about car,
Mm-hmm.
you were asking me about the interest rate. Well, can we do any better on the interest rate? Right? I don't dictate the interest rate.
Well,
The
no,
bank does.
I didn't ask you.
No,
if we
no,
could do
no,
any
no,
better on the
no.
interest
No,
rate.
I
Okay.
shouldn't have said you, but like when you come in, or
When
like
a customer comes
when a
in.
customer comes in,
Sure.
they ask me about the interest rate. I've lost deals because I have a 9% interest rate on a customer who has a 800 credit score,
Mm-hmm.
where 2 years ago that interest rate was 3%.
Okay.
Right? It's directly impacting me and my ability to feed my family,
Why?
because now those 22 cars a month I'm selling, I'm now down to 16 a month, let's say,
I don't understand what the interest rate has to do with it, though.
because people walk over interest rates. Oh, well, I'm just going to hold on to my car then. So then I don't get paid for just sitting with you for 2 hours, right?
Calm down.
Well, absolutely.
Because I mean, essentially, it boils down. It's going to boil down to their monthly payment, right? They don't want to.
Not all the time. Not all the time.
Then put more money down.
You can't buy down rates like that anymore.
But
If you-
but
so if you
here's my
put
thing. Here's my
10,000
thing.
down?
Their big objection is because the interest rate is high. They don't want to pay more interest. Okay, well, if you
Correct.
don't want to pay as much interest, put more money down.
Correct. So if you put $10,000 down on a $55,000 car, you're probably going to get down to like a 7% interest rate. That's still not good enough. Okay, well, hey, I can
Then
switch
put
you.
more. Then pay in cash. You don't want an interest rate, right?
Correct.
To me, that's one thing I hate is excuses. Like, if you're not making enough money, find a job that pays better. Don't ask that. Don't, because what's going to happen if you ask that company to pay you more money for the same amount of work? That company is going to have to, in turn, increase the price of their
But they
product
have.
or increase the price of their service to compensate for the extra pay that they're paying you, which is going to now increase. Now the consumer is going to be hit with that. Now they're going to need to ask their boss for more money. And it's just, it's a snowball effect that never ends.
Correct.
It never ends, right? So instead of asking your employer for more money for the same amount of work, maybe you ask for a promotion and do a different work and become valuable in a different way to where you could be more profitable for the company, or you go find a job that pays more to start off with.
I understand what you're saying.
Or you become more profitable to the company, maybe bring more money into that company so that way they can justify paying you more money.
I understand what you're saying. Let me ask you this. So 2 years ago, I made X amount of dollars, and it was a very good amount of money.
Okay.
Right? I made a very good amount of money 2 years ago. Last year, I sold 57 more cars than I did the year before. I took a $15,000 pay cut. Okay? I worked way harder. I busted my tail. I forewent days off so I could go in and work, right?
Okay.
I made less money.
Did you make your company more money?
I made them less. And here's how. Because now, as the car market evened out, right? Back in like 2020, 2021, beginning part of up till probably like September of 2022, there were still no cars on the lot, really, right? So there was really no room for negotiation. Hey, this is the price. If you want it, take it. If you don't, someone else is going to take it, right? But now more cars are on the lot, right? So now customers now have the ability to negotiate, right? So some dealerships do invoice pricing now. Some dealerships are doing X amount of things, but what does that do? That directly affects the commissioned employee, right? because I'm commission. You know, my finance manager is, for the most part, commission. Sales manager, commission. General manager, commission. We make less money to make other people happy, so that they'll buy the vehicle, right? You can't. The price of vehicle went up too. So like a truck, any brand truck, let's say, 4 years ago cost $50,000, and that's a decent price for a truck. I mean, that's a good price for a truck. Now that same truck, 58, 59, let's say, because the people wanted the technology in the vehicles. People wanted this feature, that feature, that feature, and this feature to all be standard. Well, what did the manufacturers do? Well, we're going to make that standard now. You know what I mean? So in turn, the price goes up. But then the interest rate goes up. And then what happens? Well, because of COVID, everyone was buying cars with no rebates. So we're not going to incentivize these vehicles as heavily as we did 4 or 5 years ago, right? So we could get people to buy the cars, right? So now, well, you guys aren't discounting it. Well, no. You know, we'll help you out on the MSRP, of course. You know what I mean? But there's no rebates. Well, if they're not incentivizing me to buy a vehicle, I'm going to walk. Okay. That's not the conversation. You know, it's more of a, hey, well, let's see what we can do to help you out. You know what I mean? Hey, maybe we can do this, that, and the other. In that time that I helped that customer and spent 3 hours with them trying to get them to buy a vehicle, 3 other people walked in. I wasn't able to help them. You know what I mean? I could have had more shots, right? So what I'm getting at is, yeah, like it is my fault for, you know, getting a house, getting a nice vehicle, that kind of thing. It is my fault, you know, but I don't think that I'm performing at such a level where I should be, because I'm performing at a very high level. I shouldn't be worried that, oh man, like I don't have as much money in the bank as I did 3 years ago. Oh man, like now 10 cars a month was awesome, but now 20 cars is 10 cars. You know what I mean? What am I supposed to do? Well, hey, I gotta, now I'm not doing this. My dealership didn't tell me to do this, nothing like that. But I see people on these forums that I'm a part of. Now these guys are paying $1,000 a month out of their pocket to do advertisements to get people in. Well, it might not work. So now they're coming out of pocket. They're doing everything they can to sell a car, right? And they're still failing. And it's just like, how are we supposed to get ahead? How are we supposed to live without raising the minimum wage to a good amount of money? Now, for me, I'm a commission employee, so minimum wage really doesn't apply. But hey, my paycheck hasn't gone up, but everyone else is expected to go up, but I'm not going to be affected by that. So like for me, this isn't really a me thing. I got to figure it out.
So it's funny that we're on the topic of cars, right? Because what did we just have a few months ago?
An auto workers strike.
An auto workers strike. And why were they striking?
Money.
They wanted more money.
They did.
And guess what happens when they get more money? The cost of the cars go up.
They do. And that happens. I mean, people are always going to need cars. I'm always going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, but I've told you maybe a year or two ago, I was like, well, this is what I pay in bills a month. And you're like, well, that ain't shit. You know what I mean? But if it ain't shit for me, how are some of these other people surviving? Because I'm doing okay. You know what I mean? Like I've never had to worry if the truck's going to be paid or the house is going to be paid. You know what I mean? That'll get paid because I'm going to hustle. I'm going to work it out. I have money in the bank. I'm good. Not as much as I had 3 years ago, but that's disheartening. But it'll be okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But like, I'm more concerned, like the guy that has a $1,700 a month house payment, that's like on $100,000 house now, man, because of the interest rate. Would you rather pay $1,700 and own your home after 30 years, or would you rather pay $1,200 a month in rent and then have to sign a new lease every year, and then your rent can go up? You know what I mean? $762. That's not a truck. That's not a truck. That's a basic. I mean, then don't. That's a basic SUV.
Then don't. And I have this problem too, right? Don't live outside your means.
But how can anyone not live outside their means anymore? You almost have to.
No, you don't. Those amenities that you want in the car, So I just got a new car, right?
Yeah.
Because I need to save some money so I can pay some stuff off. I just got a new car. I settled for less than what
Yeah.
I currently have, right? So
Yeah.
I have a lease. My lease is up in a couple of days. I'll be
Couple days.
taking my car back to you and saying, "Here,
Yeah.
Tom, here's the keys.
Yeah.
Thank you for the 3 years."
Yeah.
You know, but yeah. So I had to get a new car. I got an older car. My car was brand new when I got it. Now it's about 11 years old. It does not have all the amenities that my new car had, my previous car had.
I'm listening, Jeff.
And
Just pulling
it's
something up.
it's probably about a third the cost, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if I want to save money, if I want to not live outside my means, I have to be willing to compromise somewhere. Do I want the amenities or do I want to save the money? Right?
Correct.
So instead of us being so bougie and entitled here in the United States where we think we deserve or are entitled to the amenities and we deserve a $50 an hour minimum wage, no, we don't. I'll just if I can't afford something, then I will just have to settle for less, unfortunately, and then I will work my way up to being able to afford it. I don't think that we should have this, and like I said, it's a snowball effect. So I don't think I should be demanding something that I really haven't deserved.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just figuring something out here real quick. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
All right.
And
so
if
this,
go
so
ahead.
this is a 2019 pretty much front wheel drive, 60,000 miles, out of warranty, not certified pre-owned. Maybe heated seats, maybe. But cruise control. Now mind, no all-wheel drive. Okay.
Okay.
Cruise control, maybe Apple CarPlay, but that's standard. You know what I mean? Now, let's divide that by 2. With 0% interest, that's what the payment is per month. It's 60 months and no money down. Because a lot of people, let's face it, can't put money down all the time, right?
Okay.
$456 a month. Now
Let me ask you, what'd you multiply by 2?
So rule of thumb is in the car, and this is what I've heard. You take the MSRP of the vehicle, take the first 2 numbers, multiply by 2, and add a 0. And that's an idea of what your monthly payment would be with $0 down.
At 0% interest?
Well,
for 60 months.
For 60 months.
Why wouldn't you just take the MSRP of the vehicle? I mean, maybe factor in some tax, title, license, right?
I factored that all in there.
Okay, so that number that you just gave,
Mm-hmm.
divide that by 60, and that would be your monthly payment.
So that right there,
$50 a month.
0% interest, and that doesn't exist.
Right. Okay.
So 9% interest, you're looking probably $60 a month more, maybe.
I have to do the math, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's a base. So right there, and then a $1,700, $1,500 a month house payment.
So instead of going with a 2019, if you can't afford that monthly payment, go with a 2012 or 2013.
But you know how hard parts are going to be to get for that? Do you know how hard?
Probably not that hard, given that it's that old.
Well, with the auto workers strike and with parts warehouses like not being at full capacity anymore, it is harder to get that stuff now.
Okay.
It is harder. So then your vehicle's in the shop a little bit longer. And I know people complain to you all the time, like, dude, you've had my phone for like 2 days, man. I need to get that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being without your car for 2 weeks. That's your only source of transportation. So then, hey, you might be a one-car household. Hey, I got an Uber.
But you're not entitled to have your car all the time. You're not entitled
But you're entitled to go to work.
You're not entitled to go to work either.
But how are you not when you have to pay for your family? Am I supposed to just like hoof it? Like
If
wake
you-
up at 4 a.m. and walk
Okay,
to
so
work?
I guess in a sense you may be right, because if you actually cannot work, you can go on disability, right? Social
most
Security
cases.
disability, right?
But if I'm a 32-year-old, 34-year-old male
Mm-hmm.
or female, and hey man, hey boss, my car's still in the shop. I can't get into work today. All right, well, you ain't coming into work ever again because this is the third day in a row, so you're fired. But
So
now I
maybe you
can't
gotta
get into
take
the
a
job
So
interview.
maybe you gotta take a taxi. Maybe you gotta take an Uber. Maybe you gotta call somebody for a ride. Maybe you gotta ride your bicycle. There's ways to do it. Like that's what I'm saying. I hate excuses because where there's a will, there's a way.
That's true. It's very true. But some circumstances are different. Some circumstances are different. Some guys can't get work out here in Asheville, so they drive to Cleveland every day, right? So what's that dude supposed to do? What's he supposed to do? I mean,
They
like,
can't get work and can't get work or don't want work.
maybe they don't pay as much out here for what the guy knows he's worth.
Well,
You were just talking about, hey, if you bring profitability, then you.
But I
gotta tell
also
your
said you
boss.
have to compromise. If you can't make it out to Cleveland, then you have to get something here. Yeah, it's not as much as I would like to make, but I got to think about I'm going to save the time, save the money in gas, save the miles. I might make a little bit less, but guess what? I'm saving all this stuff and I'm actually able to make money because guess what? I actually don't have a car right now. So maybe I'm going to have to, ride the city bus or ride my bicycle or take a taxi or whatever the case is. Like
But he's still paying on his car. Just because it's in the shop don't mean he's not paying on it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You have to compromise. You have to do what you have to do. Like you can't just expect somebody to pay you more or expect to keep your job because you can't make it. Like that business has people it has to pay, it has
Correct,
money it
but
has
on
to
the
make.
flip side, America's just increasing the cost of living.
You're doing that if you approve a $50 minimum wage, you're doing the same exact thing.
No, I understand. I'm not saying a $50 minimum wage.
Any raise in minimum wage is any raise is going to increase the cost of living.
It's true. Any raise will increase the cost of living. But what I'm saying is, why don't we try to make it easier for people? Why don't we try? Hey, if all these people are going to start increasing their prices, eggs are fucking $4.99 for a dozen now, man. I was paying $2.50.
Imagine
3
if
years
you
ago.
gave somebody a $50 minimum wage.
Oh, I'm not for a $50 minimum wage.
Imagine it was $20. I mean, like the cost of eggs would now be $7.
It's true. It's true. I mean, but so excuse me. I guess what I'm getting at is by what you're saying, it's not anyone's fault but the person for, having these things.
I'm not saying it's their fault because things happen. Local business today told all their employees at 3:00, you're all terminated. We're closing. We're closing the doors.
No shit.
Yeah, I think it was like 140 employees.
That's crazy.
Right. So it's not their fault they lost their job.
Yeah.
Well, shit. They probably got comfortable in this lifestyle, but guess what? Now they have to make some sacrifices, make some decisions. Maybe they're not going to be able to pay their car payment. So guess what? You know what? We're going to have to get a different car. We're going to have to get a less expensive car. We're going to have to trade this in, get something cheaper, right? You have to make sacrifices, and nothing is for sure, and we're not entitled to anything.
We're not, but we're also people are out here working their asses off.
I agree.
Just to make ends meet, and now they're increasing these prices. Hey, these guys didn't go for a crazy car. They didn't go for a crazy house payment, but they do have 2 kids, and hey, now one's 13, one's 15. They're growing boys, growing girls, and they're eating more. So what are we supposed to tell them? Like, hey, unfortunately, we can't eat this week. Hey, you got to go without dinner.
Pick up a second job.
And then never be home with your family and all that.
You have to
that.
make sacrifices.
That's what I'm saying. I get that. So, hey, dad's never going to be home, right?
He's going to be working a little bit more.
He's going to be working
for a while.
He's going to be working a lot. You're going to see dad, at 11 o'clock at night. He's going to come home. He'll probably come in your bedroom, give you a hug and kiss goodnight. And then he's got to go back to work at 6 a.m.
Bro, that's...
Understand. Hey, things happen.
And guess what? The people who grind like that, a lot of the times, they're the ones who make it through.
Correct.
I know. I personally know people who are millionaires, and they said from this time before the sun comes up to way after the sun's down, all they did was work. and they're worth. And they said they hardly got to see their kids.
But what I'm getting at is those guys are some of them are still struggling, and it's like,
Yeah.
But how?
But why are they struggling? Maybe because they're living outside their means. Who knows?
I just
right?
said they don't have a crazy car payment. They don't have a crazy house payment, but the prices keep going up. So hey, we can't afford eggs anymore. We can't have eggs and toast at breakfast anymore. Now we got to have fucking milk and you get to split a piece of toast. You know what I mean? That's the sad reality for a lot of people. I mean, how are you supposed to have a quality of life?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's struggling that hard if they're working that much.
You'd be surprised, bro. You'd be surprised. You'd be very surprised. I know guys we went to high school with.
Okay, I don't think they're struggling that hard if they're working that much and they're not living outside their means.
That's true. I got it for off air. But oh god. Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's just an interesting topic. I'm really interested to see if that gains any traction. That $50 a month minimum wage.
I guess if we vote blue, it probably will.
I don't know.
I mean, 3-4 years ago, there was $15 minimum wage. $15 minimum wage. Now this crazy lady, Barbara Lee, $50 minimum wage. Well, that's California for you, though. But
It is.
anyways, you guys, we thank you guys so much for staying tuned this long. If you have made it this far, we'll be back again next week. That's the plan, anyways.
Yeah.
Unless things
Yep.
go crazy. But yeah, thank you again so much for watching. And I am Anthony Oquedo. This is Tom Roth. You have all made the cut. And we'll see you again. Peace.